I, I, I am at a loss for words. I really am. I'll be perfectly honest. After how much I disliked Toy Story 4, I really did not want to continue this review series. But, as the rule of thumb goes, if I review one movie in a franchise, might as well review them all. So yeah. But this was the last Toy Story movie. Well, until Toy Story 5 comes out in June this year, which I'm not looking forward to, but at least for now, I'm done with the review series. So that's a good thing. But yeah. Like, where do I even begin with this movie? But anyways, guys, this is Cole. Welcome to another rant, unfortunately. And again, I thought Toy Story 4 sucked, but my goodness, this was on a whole nother level of bad for reasons I'm going to discuss throughout the course of this review. But before I get into my rant on this dumpster fire, I want to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. What do you think of this movie? Are you in the majority of people who hate this movie, or are you one of the few people who likes this movie and think it's underrated? Because I'm actually friends with a couple of people who like this movie and think it's underrated. And hey, if you like this movie, that's completely fine. I respect your opinion, but I personally think that the backlash this movie got was very justified, and yeah, I did not like this movie very much. But I know I'm almost 2 minutes in and not into the review, but I had to get all that off my chest. But anyways, so what is the plot to Lightyear? Well, the plot of this movie is as follows. Driven by guilt, Buzz attempts to create hyperspace fuel, but each flight causes 4 years to pass due to time dilation, leaving himself to fight the villainous Zurg. So, essentially the idea for this movie, for those who don't know, so as we now all of us know what Toy Story here is, and all of us know that Buzz Lightyear was Andy's favorite toy. Well, the beginning of this movie says these exact words. In 1990, and the movie begins with these exact words. In 1995, Andy got a Buzz Lightyear figure, which was his favorite toy. Basically, the prologue at the beginning of this movie says, in 1995, Andy had a Buzz Lightyear toy. It was his favorite toy. This is the movie he saw that made him a fan, which became his favorite movie. And it says that the Buzz Lightyear toy is basically a toy based on his favorite movie. And so that's basically the prologue we're given. And I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that this is the movie Andy saw that made him want a Buzz Lightyear toy. I'm not buying that at all. I really did not like this movie for reasons that I'm going to discuss here. But let's just get into this rant. And so how was this movie made? Well, how was this movie made? Well, because of the success of Toy Story 4, which was a success for some reason, Pixar was wondering what else could they really do with the Toy Story franchise because of the way 4 ended. Well, they decided to do a prequel movie about Buzz Lightyear, but a movie where Andy, like I said, when he was a kid, saw the movie Lightyear and it made him want a Buzz Lightyear toy. Which, okay, that might have worked as a concept, but I did not think this movie was well executed at all in the least, and I'm sorry, here's the thing, you do not replace Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. No, the fact that you replaced him with Chris Evans was a terrible idea. And look, do I like Chris Evans as an actor in some movies? Yes, I thought he was a good Captain America. I also like him in that comedy, Not Another Teen Movie, which I thought was a pretty good spoof comedy, but I don't know, just to me, he didn't really fit as Lightyear. And I gotta be honest, I did not have any expectations for this movie because, I mean, granted, I thought that the trailers were okay when I saw them, but I don't know, just something seemed off about it. And over these past 4 years since the movie came out, I have heard nothing but terrible things about this movie. And like I said, I watched Toy Story 4 for the first time last night, and I really did not like that movie. So I thought, oh boy, is this going to be slightly better, or is it going to be even worse? And it was even worse! I know this review is all over the place, and I'm not even 5 minutes in, but I have to get all this frustration off my chest. And for those of you guys who do not know, back in the year 2000, there was actually a made-for-TV Buzz Lightyear movie, which is basically a movie that was basically supposed to be like the kickstart to like a Buzz Lightyear TV show, but like it's a pilot movie, but hour long. Actually pretty good. I haven't watched that in a long time, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into this review. So the movie starts off where like I said, the prologue of the movie says, in 1995, in 1995, Andy got a Buzz Lightyear figure, and it was his favorite toy. This is the movie he saw that made him want a Buzz Lightyear toy. And the movie starts off where we're introduced to Buzz Lightyear, who this time was replaced by Chris Evans. And again, I like Chris Evans as an actor, but he was not the right replacement in my opinion. And also, the fact that Tim Allen did not want to be a part of this was red flag number one that this movie was going to suck. Quite frankly, I do not blame Tim Allen for not wanting to be involved with this because, well, quite frankly, I do not blame him for not wanting to be involved because, well, Tim Allen, he probably saw the script for this and he thought, no, I'm not going to be a part of this. And if that's the case, then I do not blame him. But this movie's plot is just not good, where basically because of Buzz Lightyear's selfish actions, Buzz Lightyear, his star commander, and his assistant Rookie, who's new to the job, basically have to go on this planet and stuff like that. And Buzz Lightyear, because of his own selfish actions, is trying to fly. He's basically trying to fly the starship off the planet so they can escape the bugs. But because of Buzz Lightyear's selfish actions, somebody asked Buzz Lightyear if he needs any help because, according to the ship, collision smashing into like a ledge is very likely, and Buzz Lightyear says, no, I do not need help, we're gonna make it. And well, of course they don't make it and they land on the ground. So thanks to Buzz Lightyear's selfish actions, he got them stuck on the planet. So I'm like, wow, way to go right there. I'm like, wow, we're not even 10 minutes into the movie and we're already making Buzz Lightyear an idiot. Yeah, way to ruin an iconic character. But we basically learned that when the ship crashed, it basically destroyed a crystal because apparently there's like this crystal or whatever that like is supposed to power up the ship to leave, and Buzz Lightyear is determined to basically create hyperspace fuel. That way he can actually, get what they need so they can escape the planet and go back to their home planet. But it doesn't work, which I'll get to, but Buzz Lightyear does try this multiple times, and every time he gets back, like, he basically learns because of time dilation, like, because Buzz Lightyear was going so fast in the spaceship, like, because basically in Buzz Lightyear's time, it was only a couple minutes, but on the planet where his colleagues are, 4 years passed because of the time dilation, and Buzz Lightyear learns this, but he is still determined to basically get what they need so he can basically get all the Star Commanders home, which in a way, I guess in a way I do appreciate that to some extent, because it's like, I guess I can appreciate that he has the confidence to not give up. Like, I can appreciate that to some extent, but I don't know, just, I I just don't really feel like it paid off for reasons I'm gonna discuss. And basically, we're not even 20 minutes into the movie, and after Buzz Lightyear keeps doing the time dilation things by creating hyperspace fuel, where Buzz Lightyear during each flight, like I said, every time he does a flight, 4 years pass, and when Buzz Lightyear gets to Earth, well, not Earth, the planet that they're on, like, you get what I mean. When Buzz Lightyear gets back to the planet that, during, like, one of his last flights, he basically makes it back to the planet, and he finds out that, that his female commander has basically passed away. But Buzz Lightyear basically finds like this hologram on a desk and plays it, and we see that his partner is much older now, like a woman in like her 70s or 80s, which the movie doesn't exactly establish her age, but I'm guessing she's like in her 70s or 80s, and she basically says to Buzz Lightyear, by the time you get back, I will have passed, and stuff like that. And then, of course, there's the whole scene where the old woman, when she's talking to Buzz Lightyear on the hologram, basically her granddaughter, who's like maybe 4 or 5, basically goes on and she says, "Who are you talking to? Is that Buzz Lightyear?" And then, "Is that the spaceman Buzz Lightyear?" And the grandma says, "Of course." And she says, "I'm gonna be a space ranger." And, okay, I'm going to admit, was that a nice, touching scene? Yes, because here's the thing. We know that this old woman is in her hospital bed and she's going to pass away soon. Well, granted, she's passed by the time Buzz Lightyear's seen it, but you get what I mean. And the little girl talking to her grandma saying she was going to be a space ranger someday, I thought, okay, that was a nice little touching scene. That I can admit. Even though I don't think the character that we get later on is that interesting, which I'll get to, but that one scene right there was a nice little touching scene. And then, not long after that, Buzz Lightyear, basically a new guy, comes into the office named, I forget the character's name, Hammond or whatever. I think that's the name. Correct me down below if I'm wrong, but it's the commander in charge of the planet that has black hair and stuff, and is black. And I will admit, of the new characters, he is the one new character that I do like in the movie. And that's not saying much, but again, my main problem with this movie, very much like Toy Story 4, other than one character, I do not find these new characters interesting whatsoever. And, like, that's a big problem, because what made the first 3 Toy Story movies work was that all of the characters were interesting, whether it was the main characters or new characters introduced. Like, that's what makes the first 3 Toy Story movies work so well. But here, like, the characters are very bland and forgettable. But anyways, so, like I said, Buzz Lightyear, another thing I forgot to mention is that Buzz Lightyear, he basically gets, like, this robot cat, which I can't even remember the name. Like, yeah, that's how forgettable these characters are. Like, I just finished this movie less than 20 minutes ago, and I don't remember any of the new characters' names. Even the one who I thought was decent. Like, that's how forgettable these characters are in this movie. But basically, Buzz Lightyear says, "When is the next flight ready?" And then the new commander, who basically takes over the office where, Buzz Lightyear's previous companion died, basically says, "Well, we have officially decided to cancel all flights, and from now on, we are going to live on this planet and make do with what we have." And Buzz Lightyear is very against this and stuff like that. And like I said, Socks. Okay, that's the name of the cat. Socks, which, okay. Do I think the design of the cat Socks, do I think that the cat robot is cute? Yes. But I do think Socks did get a little annoying in certain parts. Like, early on in the movie, the new commander of the place basically has security protocol guards come to Buzz Lightyear's room, and they basically say that we basically need to take your cat away from you and decommission it, you know. And then Buzz Lightyear's like, oh, I understand, but let me do it. Where Buzz Lightyear, he basically takes the cage that they're holding, that they're going to put the cat in, but they basically hear Buzz Lightyear break the window out and basically escape his place, and Buzz Lightyear and the cat basically get a hold of what they need, and they basically escape in a spaceship, and then they do hyperspeed travel, but then, because, like I said, because of the fact that every time Buzz Lightyear is in flight, due to the time dilation, time has passed once again, but this time, instead of it being 4 years, Buzz Lightyear traveled 22 years into the future, and we are basically introduced. Now, remember the little girl who I was talking about by her grandma? Well, we're basically introduced to the little girl, but this time she is an adult in her 20s and stuff like that, and Buzz Lightyear says, hey, I think we're going to get along fine and stuff like that. But then, I'm sorry about that on the camera. I just had to move my camera. Then, of course, there's the whole scene where Buzz Lightyear is on the planet and, like, there are these robot guards of Zurg, which, okay, one of the few positives I do have for the movie, I actually did like the design of these robot guards. I thought that the design of them was actually rather cool, to be fair. That's one of the only few positives I'll give this movie. And even though I absolutely despise the plot twist of who Zurg really is in this movie, I did like the design of Zurg where they made the robot like 20 feet tall. Like, that I thought was actually a rather cool aspect of the movie. But getting back to the review, this girl's name, who I don't even remember, because yeah, that's how memorable the characters are in this movie. Aside from the new companion, the companion robot cat to Buzz Lightyear named Socks, and Buzz Lightyear, I don't remember the name of a single other character in this movie. That's how forgettable these characters are. And then, of course, like I said, Buzz Lightyear, when he arrives to the planet, he is not aware of what's going on, and basically Buzz Lightyear, like an idiot, is basically yelling out, even though Buzz Lightyear was told to be quiet, like an idiot, he yells out loudly, my ship, you know, because he's not supposed to attract the attention of robots, but like an idiot, he yells out, oh, they took my spaceship and stuff, like an absolute moron. And then we basically learn that, you know, that the girl in the robot suit was basically the granddaughter of, well, Buzz Lightyear's commander, who was his longtime friend and stuff like that. And the humor in this movie, I didn't think was very good. Like that's the thing that sucks, is because when it comes to the first 3 Toy Story movies, the first 3 Toy Story movies had some rather good humor in it, to where what makes the first 3 Toy Story movies special is I thought that the humor was perfectly balanced for both kids and adults in the first 3 movies, but the 4th movie got away with that, and this movie in particular gets away from that. And then another really stupid thing about this movie, basically we learned that okay guys, here's the thing guys, if Buzz Lightyear or any other astronaut wants to be a part of the Star Command, it is basically established that you cannot have a fear of space whatsoever. Because if you have a fear of space whatsoever, you are automatically disqualified. However, for whatever stupid reason, the girl who is supposed to be the granddaughter of Buzz Lightyear's friend, somehow she is afraid of space, but somehow she is not. Here's the thing, she's afraid of space, and like I said, it is established that if you're afraid of space, you're automatically disqualified from the program. So my question is, how was she qualified to be on the force when it was very clearly established earlier on in the movie that if you're afraid of space, you're disqualified? Like, it was established that if you're afraid of space, you're automatically disqualified. but somehow she is not disqualified somehow. So this movie doesn't even commit to the rules that were established by the team. And once again, the movie does not establish how that happened whatsoever. So yeah, like that right there was really stupid. And oh my gosh, like, remember how I said I like the design of Zurg in this movie, but I do not like the plot twist reveal? Well, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen this movie. I probably should have said there'd be spoilers at the beginning of this review, but I don't care, to be honest. Like, this movie, I have to get this off my chest. The whole plot twist of who Zurg really is such a stupid plot twist. Now, I need to calm down. Now, do you guys remember how in the 1999 movie Toy Story 2, now, if you guys remember in the 1999 movie Toy Story 2, it is established that Zurg, the toy, is Buzz Lightyear's father. However, this movie completely ruins that continuity of Toy Story 2. Because guess what, people? We basically learned that Zurg is Buzz Lightyear in the future, which was such a stupid plot twist. I'm like, ugh. Way to ruin a core element of Toy Story 2. One of the best movies in the franchise. And like I said, it is, I personally thought it was very stupid how the girl, I'll call her that because I don't remember the character's name, and I don't care. The character, like I said, she is afraid of space. But here is the thing. If you're a part of the team, it is officially stated in the rules, if you're afraid of space, you're automatically disqualified from Star Command. So, how did she even get through? How? And yet this movie doesn't take the time to establish that. And then there's like this really stupid scene where basically Buzz Lightyear, I know this review's all over the place, but this movie's all over the place. But anyways, like I said, Buzz Lightyear, not only does he meet this new girl, but he also meets two other people, an older woman and a man who's on the mission with them. And like I said, I don't remember these characters' names, and I don't care because these characters are so paper thin. And then there's like this really stupid part where the new characters that Buzz Lightyear is friends with, like, okay, they're eating sandwiches, but like, this is really stupid. Like, they're eating a sandwich, but it's not a traditional sandwich. Like, the sandwich that they're eating is a piece of bread, but on top of the bread are two pieces of ham. Like apparently a piece of bread goes between two pieces of ham and pickles. Like, I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, this is stupid. Look, I understand that this movie is set in the future, but I do not care because here's the thing. The way you eat a sandwich is two pieces of bread with stuff in between, not the opposite. Like, I thought that was very stupid. And then, of course, the movie ends where Buzz Lightyear and his team, they successfully managed to defeat the bad guy Zurg and stuff like that. And once they defeat Zurg and they get back to time, well, the new commander of the team basically has cops surrounding the ship that, you know, Buzz Lightyear and all of his friends, basically got. Oh, and I know this review's over the place. This is another stupid scene I forgot to establish with the movie, but basically, the main characters basically have what is called stealth suits, where basically there is an entire scene where basically Buzz Lightyear and all the other Star Commanders, they basically have this suit that basically has a feature called stealth mode on it, where basically it makes the suit invisible and the entire character invisible, meaning that nobody can see them. However, there is a time limit for how long it lasts. And like an absolute idiot, Buzz Lightyear, like, here's the thing, Buzz Lightyear wants to be friends with these new people, but for whatever stupid reason, Buzz Lightyear, like an absolute moron, he basically decides to not tell them that the suits have a time limit on. And because of his idiotic actions, the bugs that were on the ceiling, the big bugs, basically start chasing them, and Buzz Lightyear has to save and get them on the ship thanks to his stupid actions. And then, of course, the movie ends where okay, I am sorry, I call absolute BS on this ending, where basically the Star Commander says to Buzz Lightyear, you have violated a direct order of the Star Command and have gone against all. You have violated several guidelines, but I'm still gonna put you in charge. I'm like, okay, how does that make any sense whatsoever? Like, here's the thing, like, the guy is basically trashing Buzz Lightyear because he basically decided to violate many guidelines, but yet you're going to allow him to lead your mission, like, and like, I'm sorry, but the commander's change of heart, I did not buy for 1 second at the end of this movie, and then the movie just ends. So yeah, I really did not like this movie. So yeah, screw this movie. It is easily the worst movie in the Toy Story franchise, and I do not own this movie on DVD, and I will never own it on DVD. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give Lightyear. What do I want to give this? I'm going to give this movie a. Let me think, because I could really give this a low score. If I had to rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this movie a 1.5 out of 10. I really did not like this movie, and I'm not looking forward to Toy Story 5, which I'm probably going to skip. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that was my rant on Lightyear. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and at least I'm done with the review series, and I can move on to some other stuff. And then, of course, I'm going to do a ranking video of all the Toy Story movies. But until then, we'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye now. Screw this movie.